You may not know much about Triple H, one of the most legendary wrestlers who anyone who's ever watched professional wrestling should be familiar with. Throughout his career, Triple H has been closely associated with the Pedigree, a signature knee-based move that became a hallmark of his wrestling style. However, if you've been following him for a while, you may have noticed that, over time, the Pedigree has become slightly weaker and safer. This change, however, is not random, and there is a long story behind it. It all began in 1995 when Triple H was still relatively unknown in the wrestling world. At that time, he had just switched from using the Pandemonium move, a version of Ace Crusher, which was also the finishing move of Diamond Dallas Page, to the Pedigree. The move initially was very powerful and dangerous, as the opponent's head and arms were locked in place from standing to when they hit the mat. It required careful preparation before each match to ensure both wrestlers' safety. However, in June 1995, Triple H faced Marty Garner in a match that wasn't scripted in full, a common practice at the time. Since Triple H wasn't yet a big star, the Pedigree was still unfamiliar to many fans and wrestlers alike. When Triple H executed the Pedigree, Garner mistakenly assumed that the headlock and armlock position was a setup for a suplex or powerbomb. Thinking that, Garner jumped to assist in the move, but the result was disastrous. Instead of landing safely, Garner's head slammed directly into the mat in a way similar to a pile driver, with no protection from Triple H. Thankfully, Garner wasn't seriously injured and no long-term harm was done. This incident was a turning point for Triple H, who realized how important it was to prioritize safety in the ring. From that moment on, he became much more careful with the Pedigree. He began to carefully guide his opponents through the move before each match, ensuring they understood how to take it safely. Over time, he modified his execution of the move, loosening his grip on the opponent's legs, jumping backward, and releasing his hands to allow the opponent to land more safely and reduce the risk of injury. This change in Triple H's approach reflects an important aspect of wrestling. Not only technical skill, but also responsibility for the safety of everyone involved. As Triple H's career progressed, it became clear that the evolution of his wrestling style wasn't just about improving moves, but also about making the sport safer. Through careful adjustments, Triple H managed to keep the Pedigree as effective as ever, while ensuring that his opponents could perform it with reduced risk.